Hello guys! Welcome back to Dhananjay Crime Facts. Today, through 2D animation, we're diving into one of the most mysterious crimes ever recorded in American history. And trust me, by the end of this story, you're going to question whether this man was a criminal, a genius, or something far more dangerous. So watch till the end, and after the story is over, tell me in the comments, do you think D.B. Cooper survived? Because even after more than 50 years, nobody truly knows the answer. It all began on an ordinary passenger flight in America. A man carrying nothing but a black briefcase quietly boarded the airplane. He looked calm, polite, completely ordinary. So ordinary that not a single person inside that airport suspected they were about to witness the most infamous unsolved hijacking case in American history. Within just a few hours, this unknown man would threaten to blow up an airplane with a bomb, force the US government to hand over $200,000 in cash, leap out of a flying aircraft into a freezing storm over the mountains, and then vanish forever. No confirmed identity, no body, no clear trace. And the most shocking part? More than 50 years later, investigators still officially do not know who D.B. Cooper really was. Some people believe he died the moment he jumped into the darkness that night, but others still believe Cooper survived and quietly lived the rest of his life as a normal American citizen while the entire country searched for him. And the deeper investigators dug into the mystery, the stranger everything became. Because almost every clue in this case created more questions instead of answers. This story begins on November 24th, 1971, the day before Thanksgiving. Back then, airports across America were packed with travelers. Families rushed through terminals. Holiday announcements echoed through crowded hallways. Flights were full. Everything felt normal. But hidden inside that ordinary chaos, at Portland International Airport in Oregon, a middle-aged man quietly walked up to the Northwest Orient Airlines ticket counter. He purchased a one-way ticket for Flight 305, destination, Seattle, Washington, price, just $20. The man gave his name as Dan Cooper. But due to a newspaper reporting mistake later on, the world would remember him by a different name, D.B. Cooper. Witnesses later described him as calm, intelligent, and professional. He appeared to be in his mid-40s, around 6 feet tall, wearing a dark business suit, a white dress shirt, black tie, polished black shoes, and a raincoat. In his hand was a black briefcase. While waiting for the flight, he casually smoked cigarettes. And honestly, there was absolutely nothing suspicious about him. But America in the 1970s was very different from today. There were no metal detectors at airports, no body scanners, no detailed baggage searches. Back then, a person could simply buy a ticket and walk onto an airplane within minutes. Flight 305 was a Boeing 727 carrying 36 passengers and 6 crew members. And later, investigators would realize that specific aircraft was incredibly important to the mystery, because the Boeing 727 had a unique rear staircase, one that could actually be opened during flight. Shortly after boarding, Cooper took a seat near the rear section of the plane. He ordered a bourbon and soda. Everything still seemed completely normal. As the aircraft prepared for takeoff, flight attendant Florence Schaffner approached him. That's when Cooper quietly handed her a folded note. At first, Florence assumed it was just another businessman trying to flirt, so she casually slipped the note into her purse without reading it. But then, Cooper leaned closer and calmly said something that instantly changed everything. "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." That was it. One sentence. And suddenly the atmosphere inside the plane changed forever. Shocked, Florence opened the note. It clearly stated that Cooper had a bomb in his briefcase. He calmly asked her to sit beside him. And when she did, Cooper slowly opened the briefcase just enough for her to see inside. What she saw froze her in place. Wires, red cylinders, a device that looked terrifyingly real. A bomb. Then Cooper explained his demands, and according to witnesses, the scariest part wasn't the bomb itself. It was his behavior. There was no panic in his voice, no anger, no screaming, no threats shouted across the cabin. He spoke softly, calmly, as if he had planned every second of this moment. His demands were simple: $200,000 in cash, 4 parachutes, and a fuel truck waiting in Seattle after landing. If those demands weren't met, he would blow up the airplane. Crew members later said Cooper remained unbelievably calm throughout the entire hijacking. He was polite, controlled, never raising his voice. Meanwhile, inside the cockpit, panic was beginning to spread. The pilots immediately contacted air traffic control. Federal authorities were alerted, airline executives became involved, and before long, the FBI secretly entered the case. But strangely, most passengers still had no idea the plane had been hijacked. Cooper intentionally allowed the flight attendants to continue normal service so nobody inside the cabin would panic. For nearly 2 hours, the aircraft circled through the sky while authorities secretly prepared the ransom money and parachutes in Seattle. And during that entire time, Cooper behaved almost like an ordinary traveler. He even paid for his drink. Think about that. A man has hijacked an airplane. He claims to have a bomb. The government is negotiating with him in real time, and he's calmly sipping bourbon in his seat. Some witnesses later described him as strangely courteous despite the terrifying situation. But behind the scenes, authorities feared the bomb could be real. And if negotiations failed, everyone on board could die. Northwest Orient Airlines quickly gathered the ransom money in $20 bills. Investigators carefully recorded the serial number on every single bill, hoping the money could someday be traced. Finally, shortly after sunset, Flight 305 landed at Seattle-Tacoma Airport. The runway had been cleared to avoid public attention. Cooper instructed the pilots to keep the cabin lights dim and ordered police officers to stay away from the aircraft. Once the plane stopped, the ransom money and parachutes were delivered directly to him. Cooper personally inspected everything. Then he did something unexpected. He released all 36 passengers. And the strangest part? Many passengers still didn't fully realize they had just lived through one of the most famous hijackings in American history. Most assumed the flight had simply been delayed. But the real mystery was only beginning. After the passengers left the plane, Cooper ordered the remaining crew back into the air. Now only the pilots, a flight engineer, and flight attendant Tina Mucklow remained on board. And this is where things became even stranger. Cooper gave highly specific flight instructions. He ordered the aircraft to fly toward Mexico City at only 10,000 feet, with the landing gear partially lowered, wing flaps set at a precise angle, and the plane flying at a relatively slow speed. Investigators immediately became suspicious, because those instructions suggested something disturbing. Cooper appeared to understand aviation extremely well. The Boeing 727 lifted back into the freezing night sky. Outside, heavy rain slammed against the aircraft. Powerful winds shook the plane. Far below stretched endless forests, rivers, and mountains across Washington state. And near the rear staircase, D.B. Cooper sat alone, quietly preparing for what seemed like an impossible jump. At one point during the flight, Cooper instructed Tina Mucklow to return to the cockpit. Later, she would tell investigators something chilling. Until the very end, Cooper remained completely calm. Then, sometime later, warning lights suddenly flashed inside the cockpit. Movement had been detected near the rear stairs. And at approximately 8:13 p.m., the aircraft experienced a sudden upward shift, almost as if weight had abruptly disappeared from the plane. Investigators believe that exact moment was when D.B. Cooper strapped the ransom money to his body, opened the rear staircase, and jumped into the freezing darkness below. When the aircraft later landed safely in Reno, Nevada, armed FBI agents stormed on board expecting danger. But what they found shocked everyone. The cabin was empty. D.B. Cooper was gone, completely vanished. All he left behind was a black clip-on tie, a tie clasp, and several cigarette butts. The rear staircase had clearly been used during flight, but despite massive search operations across forests and mountains, there was no sign of Cooper, no parachute, no body, no ransom money, nothing. America instantly became obsessed with the mystery. The FBI launched one of the largest investigations in its history, codename NORJAC, short for Northwest Hijacking. Hundreds of FBI agents searched remote wilderness areas across Washington state. Military helicopters scanned forests from above. Ground teams searched mountains, rivers, and valleys. Witnesses, skydivers, veterans, airline employees, criminals, everyone was questioned, but every search ended the same way. Nothing. The biggest question was simple. Did Cooper survive the jump? Many experts believed survival was nearly impossible. Think about the conditions. Pitch black night, freezing rainstorm, violent winds, dangerous mountains, dense forests. And Cooper was wearing nothing but a business suit and loafers. Experienced skydivers later said no professional would willingly jump under conditions like that, but then other evidence pointed in the opposite direction. Cooper appeared to know aircraft operations unusually well. He specifically chose a Boeing 727. He knew the correct altitude and airspeed for parachuting. Some investigators believed he may have had military parachute training. But then the case took another strange turn. One of the parachutes Cooper selected was actually a non-functional training parachute. It had been sewn shut for practice use only. So if Cooper was truly experienced, why would he choose the wrong parachute? Was he secretly an amateur? Or did he accidentally make a fatal mistake? Every answer created even more questions. As the years passed, theories exploded everywhere. Some believed Cooper escaped into Canada. Others believed he died in the wilderness and was never found. Some investigators suspected someone on the ground may have been waiting for him. Others believed the hijacking could have connections to military intelligence operations. And with every passing year, the mystery only grew larger. Then, in 1980, the case took another shocking turn. Nearly 9 years after the hijacking, an 8-year-old boy named Brian Ingram was vacationing with his family near the Columbia River. While digging in the sand, he discovered several decaying bundles of cash. Investigators were stunned because the serial numbers perfectly matched Cooper's ransom money. The discovery confirmed that at least part of the ransom had somehow ended up near the river. But instead of solving the mystery, it made everything even more confusing. How did the money get there? Did Cooper drown in the river? Did someone intentionally bury the cash? Or did floodwaters carry it downstream naturally? Even today, investigators still debate those questions. After that discovery, public fascination exploded again. Newspapers, television specials, books, documentaries, podcasts, amateur detectives, everyone became obsessed with uncovering D.B. Cooper's true identity. Over the decades, hundreds of suspects emerged. Former military veterans, skydivers, engineers, airline employees, career criminals. Some people even made false confessions just for attention. The FBI investigated countless leads, but never found conclusive evidence. One major suspect was Richard Floyd McCoy, a Vietnam veteran. In 1972, he carried out another Boeing 727 hijacking using an almost identical method: ransom demand, parachute escape, rear staircase jump. The similarities were terrifying, but there was one problem: his appearance didn't match witness descriptions of Cooper, and eventually evidence suggested he probably wasn't the hijacker. Another suspect later emerged: Kenneth Christensen, a former Northwest Airlines employee with military parachute experience. Many investigators believed his background strongly matched the case, but once again, there was no direct evidence. Then came Robert Rackstraw, former Army pilot, explosives expert, criminal background. Independent investigators strongly believed Rackstraw was Cooper, but the FBI never officially confirmed it. And maybe that's exactly what makes this mystery legendary. Every suspect feels believable, but none of them fit perfectly. Over time, D.B. Cooper became more than just a criminal. He became part of American culture. Books were written, TV shows were produced, Hollywood movies explored the mystery. People became fascinated by the image of a calm man who outsmarted the government and vanished into darkness. And strangely enough, Cooper never physically harmed a single passenger. He stayed polite, calm, controlled. Because of that, some Americans almost began viewing him like a folk legend. Of course, airplane hijacking is an extremely serious federal crime, but public imagination transformed Cooper into something larger than reality itself. And the timing mattered. 1970s. America was already drowning in distrust and conspiracy theories. The Watergate scandal had shattered public trust in government. Cold War fear dominated the country. Secret intelligence operations were being exposed, so the idea of a mysterious man defeating federal authorities and disappearing forever almost felt unreal. And maybe that's why this case never died. Because this wasn't fiction. It really happened. A real airplane was hijacked. A real ransom was delivered. A real parachute jump took place. A real FBI investigation followed. But the ending never came. Who was he? Years later, modern forensic technology reopened parts of the investigation. Scientists examined Cooper's black tie. DNA testing was attempted. Investigators even discovered microscopic particles connected to rare aerospace manufacturing materials. That led to a new theory. Maybe Cooper worked in aviation or advanced engineering industries. But once again, the clue solved nothing. Were those particles truly connected to Cooper or just environmental contamination? The case returned to the same place it always did. Questions without answers. Some researchers later argued investigators may have searched the wrong landing zone entirely. According to revised flight path calculations, Cooper may have landed somewhere completely different. If that theory is true, the FBI may have spent years searching the wrong wilderness. And then comes the psychological mystery. Why did Cooper do it? Was it really all for $200,000? If he was intelligent enough to plan something this complex, why risk such a dangerous stunt? Some investigators believe financial desperation drove him. Others believe he was chasing adrenaline. Some suspect anti-government motivations. But once again, no one truly knows. And perhaps the strangest part of all, no clear personal trace of Cooper ever appeared afterward. No confirmed family member, no friend, no co-worker. Nobody ever definitively identified him in public. No one was caught suddenly spending the ransom money. No verified deathbed confession ever surfaced. It's almost as if the man appeared from nowhere and vanished back into nowhere. In 2016, after more than 4 decades, the FBI officially suspended its active investigation. The case remained unsolved. But the mystery never disappeared. Even today, independent researchers continue analyzing weather reports, witness statements, flight records, and forensic evidence. Online communities still debate theories. Every few years, a new suspect appears in documentaries or books. But the truth? Still uncertain. One possibility is that Cooper died the moment he jumped. The wilderness was brutal. The weather was deadly. A nighttime parachute jump through a freezing storm was nearly suicidal. If he died somewhere deep in the forest, nature could easily have hidden the evidence forever. But another possibility still haunts investigators to this day. What if D.B. Cooper actually succeeded? Imagine it. The day before Thanksgiving, a man boards a plane under a fake identity, calmly hijacks the aircraft, collects ransom money from the government, jumps into storm clouds over the mountains, survives impossible conditions, destroys all evidence, and quietly disappears into normal life, while the entire country desperately searches for him. If that's what truly happened, then maybe that's why this story still feels unreal today. Because the mystery of D.B. Cooper is more than just a crime story, it's the ultimate disappearance. In today's modern world, vanishing completely is almost impossible. Cameras, phone tracking, digital payments, fingerprints, surveillance systems. Everything leaves a trace. But Cooper disappeared during an era before modern technology controlled every movement. And maybe that's exactly why people remain obsessed with this case. Because it exists at the perfect intersection of reality and imagination. Every major event was real. The hijacking, the ransom, the parachute jump, the FBI investigation. Only one thing is missing, the ending. And human beings never forget unfinished stories. Even today, if you stand near the forests and rivers of the Pacific Northwest, the atmosphere still feels cinematic. Endless dark trees, cold wind moving through the mountains, rain falling across the wilderness, and somewhere out there, according to some theories, the final truth about D.B. Cooper may still be hidden beneath decades of earth and silence. Maybe an old parachute still lies buried somewhere in the forest. Maybe hidden evidence still waits to be discovered. Or maybe Cooper escaped long ago, lived an ordinary life under a different name, and carried America's greatest aviation mystery to the grave with him. And perhaps that uncertainty is exactly what made this story immortal. Because mysteries survive as long as the final answer remains unknown. More than 50 years later, one image still lives in the minds of millions. A calm man in a dark business suit, smoking cigarettes inside an airplane, a black briefcase sitting beside him. Federal agents scrambling under pressure, a rear staircase opening high above storm clouds, and then one impossible leap into the darkness. After that, nothing. No confirmed identity, no verified body, no final answer. Only one of the most dangerous and mysterious unsolved cases in American history. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to hit the like button. And if you want more real crime stories told through cinematic 2D animation, subscribe to Dhananjay Crime Facts. Also tell me in the comments, which crime mystery should we explore next? Thanks for watching.